Do you feel like you're wasting your time? Do comments live rent-free? Good old noggin. Did life deal you a really cruddy hand? Well, don't worry, because this streamer and this psychiatrist got you covered. They had a 2-hour-long conversation about this big-brained stuff, and I'm going to break down the best parts just for you. First things first, do you feel like you're wasting your life away, doing menial things that don't impact society or impact humanity? Squeex and Dr. K go hard here. They just straight spit facts, so we're going to let this one roll.
What's the value of time? That ultimately determines whether something that you do is a waste or not.
Well, it's valuable because it's finite. I think time having fun is time well spent.
I think it's very subjective depending on what is important to people. Is speedrunning a waste of time? I would say human beings really enjoy challenging themselves and mastering things. There's just a human burn to like, I'm going to conquer this thing.
Pokemon Ash said it best. I want to be the very best, like no one ever was. And that's all that matters if it matters to you. Also, I know Rick and Morty has a real bad rep right now with Justin Roiland and whatever. The zaniness of the fans. The scene resonates with me. Spoilers if you didn't watch it, but Rick goes to Bird Person, talks about, as he always does, the infinite universe, how vast it is, the multiverse, how nothing matters. And Bird Person says, well, if nothing matters, why do you care so much about going on adventures with me? And Rick says to him, well, you matter to me. When you find that thing, that hobby, that person, those friendships that spark that meaning in you, that is what matters. When you can understand that, oh my goodness, life begins. You have finished the tutorial.
I think it ultimately comes down to, what are you doing it for? So like mindless grinding towards a particular goal without intention, I think is harmful. Really stopping and thinking to yourself like, okay, what do I want to do with my time? Is this aligned with like what I want to be in this world?
Dr. K went on to say something along the lines of, he got interested in Dota and really wanted to get good at it. After a couple hours of playing, he realized it would take him 500 or more hours to become good at the game. He took a step back and thought, do I actually want to invest that amount of time to get good? Is it going to help me be the person I want to be? And he realized it wouldn't help him become fulfilled. He wants to help gamers become happy, healthy, and enlightened. That's what it means when he asks, does it align with what I want to be in this world? The second big thing that they talk about in this video could be summarized with this phrase. You might remember it. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And I know that also probably has a bad rep. It's associated with toxic masculinity and just ignoring your problems and ignoring your emotions. But when you look through it at a different way, at a different angle, through a different lens, through the lens of fully feeling your emotions, accepting them, not ignoring them, and then addressing the core problem, your insecurities. When you look at it that way, it is then empowering. It takes a lot of work, but once you can learn and understand how to do that, only then can you not let people live rent-free in your head. To push you, nudge you gently in the right direction, the first step to inner peace is to understand where people are coming from, why they are adding you and coming after your soul. Take it away, fellas.
Nobody on the internet really hates you. They want to get your attention in any way possible. And as like a young shit poster myself, I understand that inclination of being young and wanting someone to read my message.
Squeex, that is a very enlightened perspective. So this is a skill that we'll try to teach streamers or other people, which is there's sort of the absolute behavior, and then there is a way to disarm the impact of that behavior by understanding where the person is coming from.
Once I was streaming and someone said something that hurt my feelings. And I went on a walk and thought about why it hurt my feelings. And I came like the internal conclusion that it's because deep down I was insecure about it. Whenever someone says something that hurts me, it's most likely because it's something that I need to work on myself in terms of self-doubt about who I am. It's like if someone came into my chat and was like, you're a fucking elephant, I'd be like, I don't give a fuck. I know I'm not an elephant. After getting my feelings hurt once and thinking about it, I understand that insults can only sting if you yourself believe in some modicum of truth of it.
I think we're seeing this trend as well, where when I feel hurt by something, what is happening increasingly is that the way I'm going to deal with that hurt is by making the other person stop saying it, instead of recognizing that the only reason it can hurt is if I'm insecure.
Yes.
And if I fix the insecurity, I will become immune. And then suddenly I can touch anything in the world. Instead of it hurting me, I own it.
Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about was how to take control of your life, but this is the way I see it. Stop playing 5D chess and calculating all the possibilities like you're Peter Baelish with all the different interactions you're doing. What if I do this? What about that? What if, what if, what if? You are letting your fears and emotions control you. You're like a puppet and Kankuro is using his chakra to throw you out all willy-nilly. And you let this happen before anything happens, or it has already happened. You are not Doctor Strange, astro projecting yourself into the 14 billion possibilities. How can you expect to enjoy life if you cast your mind into the future? Or even worse, you leave it stuck in the past, when your body is in the here and now. So bring us home, gents.
I think most of the battles that we fight externally are actually like we can truly win internally. And you kind of alluded to this when you know, someone says something that hurts your feelings, you can objectively want to be good at like banning people who are toxic.
Sure.
But a lot of the stuff that people struggle with is actually within their control and they feel out of control. And so in life in general, I'd say the biggest mistake that people make is that you feel out of control because there are circumstances in your life that are pulling you a particular way. But what people miss out on is that anytime there's a circumstance that acts on you, you react to that thing. And it is when you get controlled by your reaction that you lose power. So if you say something and then I can't control whether you make me feel angry or hurt. Like it may hurt, but then the way that I respond to that hurt is within my control. And oftentimes what gets us out of control in life is not how we feel when something happens. It's our inability to control ourselves when there is a response. So giving into the anger, giving in, and now like I'm never going to talk to you again, or I'm not going to show up. Or I'm going to think about, okay, like if I go to this thing, is he going to be there? Is he not going to be there? Instead of like, if he wants to show up, he can show up. And if I want to show up, I can show up. If he treats me like an ass, I will fight back. And that'll be what we do. A lot of times people will surrender control over their lives to their own reactions. I'd say the biggest thing is that people don't acknowledge how much control they have. You were sort of saying that, you know, when you're in a circumstance that treats you poorly, it's like hard to be your best self. And I think people underestimate the power that is within them.
Well, I hope you learned a thing or two. Tell me what your favorite thing was, or maybe tell me it was full of hoopla and garbage. Tell me maybe I don't know what I'm talking about, or maybe that Dr. K and Squeex don't know what they're talking about. Anyway, leave me some feedback. And if you felt any type of way about this, you know what to do. So that's all I got for you today. And as always, long live the Brotherhood.